Joe with Black Box Silver and Bronze, and I got a fat stack of comics here to share with you. Let's check them out. Hey, comic addicts, it's Joe with Black Box Silver and Bronze, and I've got a stack of comics that I've been massing over the past couple of months from eBay, Instagram, and there's a mycomicshop comic in there as well. And I've got some time to share them with you, so let's check them out. Some really cool stuff in here and some really big books that I got. Stick around to the end to see those. So the first thing I got is this magazine. It's really cool. It's called Stalin's Lie with Russian Dressing, and it's from 1951. And it's an anti-communist magazine. I think it's really cool. It was put together by a guy named Laszlo Fodor. See his name down there. And apparently his hobby was collecting political cartoons like against dictators and things like that. And so it's got 1,000 anti-commie jokes, but it's not just jokes. There's a lot of like political cartoons in here like that. It's just really cool. I love anti-communism stuff, and I found this, made an offer, got a really good deal on it. Here on the back is a picture of a map that has all of the slave labor camps in the Soviet Union. So I thought that was really cool. And I think it's pretty scarce. I've only ever seen 2 copies of these, so I was really happy to get that. And then here's an issue of Amazing Spider-Man. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 60. It's from May of 1968. And this is an early cover with Kingpin on it. I think it's his second cover appearance. Kingpin's first appearance is in 50. It's that beautiful classic John Romita red cover, Spider-Man No More. And then his first cover appearance is in the next issue, which is 51. And I don't know if he makes any more appearances between then and here, but this, I think, is his next cover appearance. And I got this for free. Purchased a big book, stick around, and from a great guy on Instagram, Monster Comic Shops. His name is Eric. And when the book arrived, this was in with it. So it was really cool. It's in great shape. Here's an interesting thing that probably many of you have not seen before. I didn't learn of this until recently. It's called Lance Kerrigan of the Galactic Legion, Quest Presents. And I just love the art on this. This is from September of 1983. So it was in that craze when there was lots of independent comics coming out, and they were in black and white. But it's got some great art in here and great inking, which is very evocative of the Golden Age. And I found out about this because I recently got this magazine-size comic called Flames of Gyro. And here's the picture of it. And that comic is the first comic from the company called Fantagraphics. And the artist was named Jay Disbrow, Disbrow. And when I saw that, I just loved the artwork and style of it. It was designed to be like Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon. And then I found out that he did other things. And this is one of them. It's a 3-issue series. Got the other 2 issues coming from mycomicshop. And it's the same type of art style. It's very evocative of 1950s style Flash Gordon. It's got this amazing wraparound cover. Something that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to getting issue 3 because the advertisement on the back for issue 3 says that it's going to be in full color. Another comic I picked up is this one, Fawcett's Funny Animals. And this is issue number 56 from December of 1947. And I love this train cover. I think it's just such a great cover. And one of the reasons I got this was because I already had that issue, but it was the Pence edition. So I thought it was pretty cool now to have both of them. I picked up a couple of issues from a seller on Instagram named Ty Coy Pinkston Comics. He does some good sales, and I claimed 2 issues of Fear. Here's issue number 6, and this has a great cover by Gil Kane, which is the monster looks very Jack Kirby. And this is from February of 1972. It's a big issue, 25-cent issue, and it reprints stories from Journey into Mystery, issues 62, 63, 66, and 79, and Tales to Astonish, 29 and 33, and it's full of stories by Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, Don Heck, and Joe Sinnott. So it's great to have all those wonderful stories in there. And he had several issues of Fear. I had some of them, but the other one I didn't have yet was number 8, and now it's down to 20 cents. This one was 25 cents, but this was thick, right? It had about 6 or 8 stories in it. This has a lot less. It's like a regular size comic book. And this issue is from June of 1972. That's a John Severin cover. Pretty cool. And also has stories with Kirby, Heck, and Ditko art in it from Tales of Suspense 26 and Journey into Mystery 62. So I like getting these early issues of Fear, which are the reprints of the monster and sci-fi, supernatural stories from all of those Marvel comics before they were superheroes. It's a great way to pick them up a lot more inexpensively. And then if you saw one of my challenge videos, the top 10 pool covers, you saw an image of this. I didn't own it yet, but I do now. And this is Betty and Veronica Friends Forever Beach Party. And it's the number 1, and it's the Fast Times at Ridgemont High Dan Parent variant cover, which is Phoebe Cates coming out of the pool in that iconic scene. From Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I really love this cover. I was so happy to be able to pick it up. Got 3 copies. It's really great. I'm going to send the best one off to get slabbed. Hang it up on my wall. All right. Now, this is going to be a promo comic, promo palooza, because I've just got a stack of promo comics. I get on these kicks, and it also has to do with, what's available. But just recently, there were loads and loads of promo comics available at really fantastic prices that they're usually a lot more, or some things that I've never seen before. So I went and snagged them. Like, for instance, here's the first one. Some of these are pretty scarce. They're not even listed in the Grand Comics database. This is one of them. So here is the Susie Smart Fun Book. And so Susie Smart, there's no date in this, but I'm going to place it around 1962 because Susie Smart was a talking doll that was on sale starting in 1962. So this has to be from around that time period. Worth Point has it listed as the comic being from the 40s, but I can't find any production of the doll in that time period. So I think they're wrong on that, but it looks old. And this was a fun book that you could get, which basically promoted the doll. And that's kind of what the doll looked like. It had a desk and a easel with a chalkboard, kind of like that. And these things just don't come around. So I was really excited to add this one. It's weird. It's an oddball. It was very cool. Here is an issue from B.F. Goodrich called The Wonder Book of Rubber. And this is a promo comic. This particular one is from 1963. And it was for B.F. Goodrich tires, basically. And there were several variants of this because they produced it over the years. And there's 4 variants that I know of. 3 of them have the same cover from this tire on down. And the difference between it is you'll either see the scientist up here, you'll see an astronaut up here, this guy, Sometimes he makes an appearance up here. Here's the back cover once again, pretty cool. And the third thing is you'll see a picture of B.F. Goodrich up here. And then there's a fourth version, which I don't have. I have copies of those 3 issues, but the fourth version has a different picture on the front. It doesn't have this plain entire. It's totally different. And those are the 4 picture variants that you could find. But if you want to even get more into it, there might be like, of this guy here, there might be like 3 different years that it was published. And, you know, of the B.F. Goodrich, there might be 3 different years. So you can find a lot of different ones of these, not only with the different pictures, but with the different years that it was printed. Very oddball comic. Again, not one that you're likely to see very often, if at all. The first time I saw it, I snagged it. And it's Adventure of the O, the Great Ballistic Park Challenge. This was put out by the Campbell Soup Company to promote SpaghettiOs. And it's just a little story in there and a fun book for kids. And it's got a Where's Waldo story in the back. Not a story, but you know, those pages where there's a bunch of people on it and you're trying to find Waldo. And so let me see if I can share that with you. Here it is. All right. Well, there's the Where's Waldo page right there. And you try to find them in there. And the only time I have ever seen this comic was the time when I purchased it. And it's got a little tear out of the bottom front. You noticed that already when I first held it up to the screen. But sometimes when I see things like this, so it's got that tear down there, but very oddball, cool to have. Here's another one that's really hard to find. And this is a comic book called Rexall, the Rexall Story of Pinocchio. And as you can see, this is in a normal comic book sized bag. And so it's a lot smaller, but this one is from 1957 and it tells the story of Pinocchio. And then it gives you a little ad down here, which says, now watch or listen to the Rexall television show on Sunday, October 13th, NBC TV-radio, and find out what else happens to Pinocchio. So there was a show about Pinocchio, and the actor who was in it is Mickey Rooney. And you see his name inside the front cover. There's a listing of, you know, the players in this story. So that's really cool, something quite scarce. Another one, now I couldn't believe that I found this one. I have been looking for this one for quite a while, and it's usually, when I see it, it's usually like $20 or more. But there was a seller who had 4 promo comics, and I think it was like $30, make an offer or something like that. So I made a $20 offer, and so I got them for $5 a piece. And this one has been eluding me. I knew about it, but it's been eluding me. And I finally got it. It's in really nice condition. It's called RD-119, The Miracle in Your Gas Tank. And so this was a promo comic from 1950. And it was from Sinclair Gas. And you could see on the back, they're talking, it's covered up here, but right over here, you could say your Sinclair dealer. They would normally stamp it here, which dealer you got it from. And it tells the story of this Sinclair product that helps you get better gas mileage and whatnot. Great art in here, as you can see, it's pretty good. Great colors. And it's a promo comic, but most of the promo comics I get are all on newsprint. This is that thicker paper. The covers and the interiors are all that thicker paper. I love the colors on here. I think it's just great. And I was so happy to get it. I couldn't believe I got it for just $5. This was another one that was in there, which also, this is like always, I see it from like $15 to $25. And it's copper, the oldest and the newest metal. And so this is a promo comic. from 1954. And it says down here, there's a stamp here, the Arcadian Copper Mine Tour, an interesting and educating attraction in the heart of the beautiful copper country. And I can't read the first part, but it's Michigan. The stamp is a little bit kind of double stamped, and it's hard to read out what town that is. But it tells the story of copper from its earliest uses by the ancient Egyptians. You can see on the cover all the different uses of copper. This woman up here is telling the story to her class. The Statue of Liberty is clad in copper. It talks about this symbol, why this is the symbol of copper, and it comes from ancient Egypt because the Egyptians used copper a lot, and that comes from the ankh, which was an ANKH, which was an Egyptian symbol. And in the Middle Ages, they associated it with copper, and then it stuck. Here's another one from that group of four. The first one, I didn't mention it, but it was the Wonder Book of Rubber. This is the story of water supply, and this is from 1966. Tells how water gets to your house. Talks about making sure the faucets aren't dripping, how much water would be wasted if you let that happen. And this was also released in several different years. So there's different variants, there's different colors on the cover. Sometimes this is orange, and sometimes it's yellow or something like that. So I wasn't really familiar with this one, but it was in that lot. More promos. This is the Promo Palooza. Here is Mr. Civil Defense talks about natural disasters, and this is from 1956. There's Little Abner by Al Capp, and the Grand Comic Database says that the interiors are not done by him, just the cover. There's the back cover with Mr. Civil Defense. I recently found out about this one because this one guy I follow on Instagram, Huffmaster, he posted this because I had posted one which looks similar to this called Operation Survival. It's got a yellow cover. It's got an Al Capp cover on it. It's the civil defense guy. And so I had posted that one, and then he posted this one in response. I didn't know about it, but I went looking for it and found one at a good price and added that to my promo comic collection. Okay, here is a cool promo comic. Pretty scarce. This is a very scarce promo comic. And the weird title of it is The Far Out Green Super Cool. So that's super cool up there. He's about to rescue this boy who's in the line of this car. So this is the first panel of the story, and it continues throughout here. And this is from 1971. And you can see down here, it's Frank Thorne. You might recognize that signature because he's a very famous artist who has done a lot of work. He's known for doing some Red Sonja work and some other things. But this was a promo comic put out in Newark, New Jersey. So it was to a specific area. And it was about juvenile delinquency. And it was given out to children in Newark to help them understand about the child court system and, truancy and graffiti and drugs and all these things that, could get you in trouble to be a juvenile delinquent. And so this superhero saves this kid and then takes him around and teaches him these things. And this came out in 1971. And then 4 years in a row came out annually. There are 4 issues of this from 1971 through 1974. It's been on my radar for a long time, but usually it goes for a lot of money, like $80 to $100, which I didn't want to pay. But there was someone who had one lower with make an offer, and I made an offer of $20, and they accepted it. So I was really happy to finally have this one, and I'll just keep my eyes out for the other 3. Another cool comic. There was a make an offer on this one, and I think I got this for about $6. And it's called Journey of Discovery with Mark Steele. It's from the American Iron and Steel Institute. If you look right there, that looks like the Pittsburgh Steelers symbol, doesn't it? And this is from 1967. And what's really, really cool about this is that it's all Neil Adams art. So Neil Adams did this, and that's kind of a thing that not a lot of people are familiar that he did artwork in this promo comic, but he did. All right, this is the last promo comic, and then we get on to some bigger books. Okay, but I love promo comics, the history of them, and they're very interesting to me. This is the story of Anna Pavlova, who was a amazing ballerina, and this is basically a biography of her life in comic book form. I never heard about this before till I saw it, and I did a little research. I could not find that many copies of it, so I snagged this one. And this is from 1956, and it was produced by a company in New York called Selva and Sons. So there's Selva right there. And basically, they were a store that provided dancewear. They were a famous store that provided dancewear. That's Harry Selva right there. And this tells the story, as I said, of Anna Pavlova. And there was another issue that they put out, which I have a copy of. I'll put a picture of up here. I didn't know about this one. I knew about the other one. It was the story of ballet, and that was from 1964. This is an earlier one from 1956, but same company, Sullivan Sons, put that one out as well. So I hope you enjoyed seeing those promo comics. They're a thing that I love to collect, and they're very odd and very unique. And I'm constantly finding new ones I never knew about. It's really fun to find things like that. So here are mostly a bunch of slabbed comics that I've recently picked up. So the first one I'm going to show you is Fight Comics number 47 from December of 1946. And it's in a 2.0 by CBCS. And I got this one because I think it's just an amazing Senorita Rio cover. I think it's the best Senorita Rio cover. I love this. Horrors Hacienda. She's on the roof with the Spanish tile. The sword fight, the coloring. The art on the cover is by Lily Renee, and it's beautiful. And some of the interior art is Matt Baker art. So that's Fight Comics number 47. This one just came in yesterday. And so this is Phantom Lady. It's not one of the ones from the Golden Age. It's reprint Phantom Lady, but this is from 1994. And this is an Adam Hughes cover and in a 9.8. This is an homage to Phantom Lady. I think it was number 17. I'm going to drop the picture in here, the famous Matt Baker cover. But that one is kind of probably beyond my reach. It's pretty expensive to get that one. And I've been looking for this cover for quite a while. I had a alert posted on my comic shop, and I got an email that it was in stock. I went there and I sniped it right away because I've been looking for it for a while, and it was a lot less than the copies on eBay are going for like $300-400, and I picked this one up for $150. So I was really happy to get that. All right, you're going to see several Archie type comics in a row right now. And the first one I'm going to share with you is Betty and Veronica number 261. And this is from October of 2012. It's Dan Parent cover. And this is a story about where Veronica is Vampironica, kind of like Vampirella. And Betty is like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's Betty the Vampire Slayer versus Vampironica. It was a two-issue story from 261 and 262. So I've been wanting these for a while, and they are also pretty pricey, but the 9.8s are so much more expensive. But I found a 9.6 that I was able to make an offer on and got it for a very, very good price, several $100s before below what they're listing for on eBay. And at the same time, I found the second part of the story, which is number 262 from December of 2012, also Dan Parent cover. And I also got this one well below fair market value. So I was really happy. Now's a good time to be picking up some of these comics because people are dropping the prices on them. And so I'm really happy to have these two. It's an 8.5, a little lower, but looks really nice. I like this cover a lot more than the first one because you got the full image of Veronica as Vamp Veronica there. On the previous one, you just basically see her head and her face. So this is pretty cool that you get to see her in her full costume there. This comic I picked up from Bird City Comics. It's Betty and Veronica, Friends Forever, Rock and Roll #1 from May of 2023. But it's a Dan Parent homage cover to Archie number 50. And so on Archie number 50, which is one of the classic Archie covers, Big Archie Key, you basically see this image, except instead of being Veronica, it's Betty on the phone. And so this is a really well done homage to that cover. All right, 2 comics to go. So that one was an homage to Archie number 50, and I am thrilled to finally have Archie number 50 in my PC. This has been a big book on my want list for several years, and I've been looking at it and looking at it, and it's a very expensive book. Some of the ones that were less expensive, they just did not present as well. They had big creases on the cover that were color breaking. This one just presents extremely well. So this is from May, June of 1951. The art is by Bob Montana. And so I do want to give a shout out to an Instagram seller named Bill. He goes by Select Comics NYC on Instagram. And if you're on Instagram, you should check out his posts because he posts amazing comics. And I have purchased 3 comics from him, all slabbed on good prices. And on 2 of them, they were a lot more expensive. So he allowed me to do time payments on it. So I'm very grateful to him to allow me to do the time payments on this, because otherwise this probably would not be in my collection right now. And the final comic is another big comic. And this one I also did on time payments. And earlier I told you I got that Amazing Spider-Man for free. Well, Eric threw it in with this one. So here it is, Journey into Mystery number 85. And this is from August of 1962. It is the 3rd appearance of Thor, right? He appeared in Journey into Mystery number 83. And then 84 was the first Jane Foster. And this is 3rd Thor appearance, but also Loki's first appearance. So this is a big book. And I have a near complete run of Journey into Mystery from number 83 onward now. I don't have 83 original. I have the Golden Record reprint. I don't have 84. But I finally have this. And this was also on time payments from Monster Comic Shop on IG. That's his handle. His name's Eric. I bought a lot of comics from him over the years. Always good deals. The descriptions are accurate. He ships them out quickly. And so he posted this one, and I asked him if he'd be willing to do a time payment on it. And he said yes. And so I'm really grateful to these guys that allow you to do time payments, because that's how I can get these bigger books into my collection. So I'm really happy to have that one. Comic addicts, I hope you enjoyed seeing those comics. Tell me which ones were your favorite, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.